Hello everyone, my name is the Mad Scorpion and welcome to another Zero Reset update for the week of February the 7th. Now getting into it first off, there is a buy one get one essentially when it comes to the full package of an exotic and the catalyst. However, I will get right off the bat and saying these two catalysts are probably some of the most missable ones on the list of available ones. For Cold Heart and Sturm. Respectively, they are effective in a way. It's just mostly only Crucible effective because I believe for the Cold Heart it is just range and stability, and something like Sturm I think it is range and handling. It is something very simple that is inherently just a stat buff, which while it may be perfect for the Crucible, and it may be a slight difference for the PvE scenario, it's not exactly game-changing like something like the Izanagi's Burden or Gjallarhorn catalysts. However, at that same point, next in the armor we have Khepri Sting, which is one of those ones that seems like it's constantly getting changed and reworked but never really landing right. Its perk is the Touch of Venom. Punching someone with a full melee energy will instantly cast your Smoke Bomb. Your Smoke Bomb deals increased damage, regenerates more quickly when it's attached at a surface, and grants True Sight after damage can impact. This is definitely still, like it was in Destiny 1 Crucible, a very Crucible-based exotic, because it's just kind of making sure that Smoke Bombs are effective, but in the end, do you really want an exotic that is all about your Smoke Bomb? Because how much do you actually get out of it? Next is the Antaeus Wards, which at very similar state of Crucible only. It makes it so that sliding with a full class ability will gain a frontal shield that will reflect incoming damage. After reflecting the damage, your class ability energy is depleted based on the amount of damage reflected. It used to grant you bonus super energy on Reflect, but that was a bit, broken for the Crucible, considering some people were really good at doing nothing but reflecting everything all game and just cranking out their super energy. PvE, it might be more handy. It's been an age since I've tried to do this, although Unbreakable and its tanking role would kind of make this pointless to have, except if you didn't have grenade energy. But, to each their own, it's still effective in a weird way. And next is the Vespers of Radius, or the Vesper of Radius specifically. It makes it so that the Rift releases periodic arc shockwaves, while final blows with the shockwaves create a arc detonation, and while an arc super is equipped, the shockwaves and subsequent explosions will also blind things. Rift energy recharges faster while surrounded, which is kind of a way of, this is a thing you would use to drop in a rift in a surrounded scenario, lots of ads, and just kind of do what you can to survive. It's nifty. I still wouldn't say it's worth making a build about. I know there are certainly people who have made the builds, but in terms of endgame content, I haven't really touched it just because if I'm going Arc, I'm doing something like Crown of Tempest, Falling Sunstar, Stormdancer's Brace, or Getaway Artist, something else that isn't focused around the Rift. If I want a good Rift, I usually go Sanguine Alchemy or the Stag, personally. But then we also have an exotic Cypher available for 79 strange coins, and just getting over his currency offerings, we do have enhancement prisms, enhancement cores, a variety of glimmer, and raid banners. Now, in his main random stock, here is the other half of the bit of the 1 and 2 special. With the Hawk Moon, we do have quick draw, as well as the variety perks of fluted barrel and the textured grip, increased handling speed, increased stability, and handling instability. It's basically everything regarding handling and stability. As you can see, it is maxed out in case you wanted basically all of the momentum and handling stat. Next is the Arbalist, which it does have a nifty catalyst that makes it so that it can reload when doing its job, which its job is sheared punching. Basically, it's anti-barrier, and it has disruption break that is making it so that anything you break the shield on, including barriers, gets a debuff to this weapon. It's unique because I think it's the only kinetic that has disruption break. But aside from that, essentially it is linear fusion the gun, and it is good against shields. There isn't really anything else to say about it. It's still pretty good in the anti-barrier scenario. However, when match game disappeared, this kind of became less needed as everything can break a shield with enough rounds. And it's still effective. It's still a PvP Crucible cancer, but regardless, it's still a thing. Now, the next half is the Cold Heart, so you can get the Catalyst and the Exotic in case you don't have either, but in the same respect, Cold Heart is inherently a simple trace rifle. It makes it so the weapon is basically a trace rifle with its original perk. The longer it remains on a target, the more damage it does, and the longest winter makes so it occasionally makes ionic traces when in a high damage state. Now, even though some people might say this is worth changing into stasis damage since it is a cold fusion laser, regardless, it is still a kind of nifty fusion rifle. It's a really solid option for arc builds because it is a guaranteed way to get ionic traces even if you don't build into them. And like I mentioned, there is a catalyst that I do believe buffs its stability and handling, stability to range. Either way, it just makes it a little bit more usable. The next is the D.A.R.C.I, which got a recent buff, if I recall, with this season, basically making it a Gjallarhorn of snipers. Aim at an enemy to view its health and other critical information. This is in the end, kind of useless scope unless you're looking for the finite details like distance and range, but the target acquired perk made so that while the personal assistant is active, this weapon has better target acquisition, deals significantly more precision damage, and jolts the target. Although, I think actually with D.A.R.C.I, that's where the Catalyst perk, I'll actually view it right now just to see and check. But yes, let's see, Catalyst perk, it makes it so that while the personal assistant is active, hits grant this weapon and other nearby allies non-exotic sniper rifles increased overall damage performance and precision damage, granting maximum stacks of the effect to gain an ally gains this weapon itself bonus damage. So think of it in the exact same way that somebody would use Gjallarhorn. You would fire off this round, or this weapon, dump a mag, swap to other weapons that are buffed, and just have a kind of backup damage alternative in case you needed it. D.A.R.C.I itself may not cook so well in terms of its damage, but the weapons that it buffs might certainly be able to. Now, for the random weapons, False Promises here, this is a solid roll, a high-impact kinetic auto rifle, but this just received a refreshed version with the season, so I don't think you should waste your money on it just yet. The Scathe Lock, which is a basic adaptive frame kinetic auto rifle, there isn't anything else to it, it is just an auto rifle, the gun. The 7th Seraph SMG, which I wish was refreshed not too long ago, but it is a very solid arc SMG. However, this roll is a little bit iffy, but I would definitely recommend it. Sadly, there's no more Warmind cells to make use of it. The Iota Draconis, which is a high-impact frame solar fusion rifle from Season of the Lost, which is a weird one because I think it is effective, but is still quite outdated, no origin traits and the like. And the Huskow, which is a adaptive frame arc rocket launcher, but if I recall, aside from that Crucible roll, a snapshot quick draw, there wasn't many rolls that would make this a good rocket launcher in today's economy. And then we also have the Thin Precipice, which I think is the only thing on this list that can be crafted. Basically, just a sword from the Season of the Deep. It is a strand vortex frame, lighter frame. I don't think really anyone did anything with this sword in retrospect, though. And as well, there is the various class swords for each respective character class. Wrapping it up with the armor available, it does seem to be the classic reference to the old Titan armor, basically. Things that just look very aquatic in a weird way, but, you know, law-specific in case you're looking at a way to customize yourself. And with that, that is everything Xur has to offer this week in Destiny. Get what you need and, you know, miss what you don't need, just in case. But, you know, some of these things may not come back around in the random pools. I'm not exactly sure what is available because I mostly have all these things before they come to here. With that, my name is the Mad Scorpion, and I will see you in the next video.